Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Well, today is the first of the really warm days going up to 31 degrees Celsius. It's already 28 degrees Celsius now, so it's going to be a warm day, so I'll have to really keep up with the watering of all the trees. I'm going to start today by showing you some presents that I got in the mail. The first present is a pair of scissors, and these were sent to me by Barb from Michigan, so thanks very much. She felt sorry for me. She sent me some other scissors and the handles were really small and it was hard to fit your fingers in, so she said, I'll send you a nicer pair. So look at these, they're really cool. These scissors are surgical grade stainless steel. They have a curved blade and they're very fine. Let's go try them out. I'll do a little tip pruning on the Arizona cypress. Let's see how they work. Oh, really nice. Yeah, they're nice and sharp. They're awesome. So thanks very much, Barb. The next package is from Gavin in the UK, and he has a YouTube channel called Another Bonsai Channel. There's a picture of Gavin. Yeah, he says, "Hi Nigel, hope everything is going well. It's becoming the way in this day and age to always turn to the internet, especially YouTube, for guidance with bonsai. But every now and then, you can't beat a good old book." And I agree with that. I thought you might appreciate this classic from Harry Tomlinson. That's Corn's father, by the way, from Greenwood Bonsai. Not sure how much you know about the UK or Sussex, where I'm based, but I thought I'd throw in a town map for the local area to me. Oh, and I thought I'd tempt you to the dark side, and I sent you a bit of wire. All the best. Cheers, Gav. So thanks very much, Gav. Let's see what he sent me. So here we go. So in the box is stay open. The first package in here is a skeleton. And it's hanging from a rope. Oh dear. There's stickers here. Oh, it says, "Rest in peace. Do you dare be part of the NABC Halloween Challenge?" That's not Another Bonsai Channel challenge. Yes, I dare be part of that. I like themed trees, and Halloween trees they're kind of cool because you can make some really spooky looking trees. So that is awesome. I will definitely be part of the Halloween challenge. And then he's got some cool stickers. Not Another Bonsai Channel stickers. So I always stick my stickers in the tunnel of the truck, so let's go do that now. It's been sunny all morning, but I noticed there's some dark clouds rolling in. We are not supposed to get rain today, but if we did, I would certainly welcome it. So here is the truck. Let's head in and get this sticker in place. Yeah, so on the transmission tunnel in here, I've got lots of bonsai stickers. And Gavin's sticker has now become part of the 1972 Ford F-250 truck. And I think we'll put it right here. Just like that. There we go. Lots of cool stickers in here. I've been having a lot of fun driving the truck lately. I put it on the road for the classic car show, and I've been taking stuff to the dump and that, and I drive it like a sports car. I heel and toe shift, and it's a big sloppy boat, but it sure is fun to drive. Yesterday was a really hot day, but it was dry out, so I had to water a lot. Today it's warm and humid, which is good. The trees will really like this weather, especially the ficus. Next in the box is a map of the Lewes area, and there's the town of Lewes, and then I think there's a close-up over here, and I'm not seeing not another bonsai channel listed on here, but I'm sure it's on here somewhere, a famous landmark like that. And then in the box is the book, Bonsai by Harry Tomlinson. This is a fantastic book. Our library used to have this book at one time, and I think I memorized it. It's full of really good pictures of all kinds of different species. And Corin still has some of these trees, so you can, you know, go far into the future and see what they look like today. I'm not sure when this was published. Let me just check. First published in Great Britain in 1990. Wow. So that's 34 years ago. So some of these trees, like this oak tree, you can see that on Corin's channel, Greenwood Bonsai. And yeah, it's changed a lot, this tree. This was considered one of the nicest oak trees in the world, actually, with this root base down here and the taper and the branches. Unfortunately, the tree declined a lot, but it's still alive. It's just not quite as nice looking as it is on the book cover here. But yeah, it's a really good book. I don't think it's in print anymore, but you can find used copies on the internet for sure. And it's really good. So I'm glad to have this in my collection because, yeah, it's one book that I've never found. And like I said, the library had it and I practically memorized it. And now I have it in my collection. So thank you very much, Gavin. That is absolutely wonderful. What a gift. And then there's this strange coil of wire in here. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I do use wire on my bonsai. I use it to mark the front of the tree. I put a little loop of wire in there. Other than that, I don't really use it, but maybe in the future, you know, I might use it for guy wires or something. I don't know. But I'll certainly use this wire. I'll find a use for it. Maybe even in my Halloween tree. So thanks very much, Gavin. That's wonderful. Check out his channel, Not Another Bonsai Channel. It's an awesome channel. It is getting very dark outside. Oh my goodness. I hung up the skeleton here as a reminder to get a tree ready for the Halloween challenge. And that's an interesting challenge. So I think I should look around my trees and pick out a possible tree for this challenge. A spooky looking tree. I think I just heard thunder. So let's have a look around and see what I've got. I think a tree for the Halloween challenge, it should be bare of leaves in October. You don't want to use a tropical tree, probably, because it just wouldn't look spooky. Trees without leaves, you see all the structure in the branches. So that's what I'll look for, is a deciduous tree that loses its leaves, and we'll look for one with a scary kind of branch structure. It certainly feels like rain now. The wind has just died almost to nothing. It's like the calm before the storm. So we'll see what happens. So a spooky tree, generally they have branches that look like arms reaching out to grab you. So kind of the opposite of what you want in bonsai. You want these bar branches to look like arms. So I'm not sure what I have. I've got this willow here that could be a possible future Halloween tree. My linden over here, it's not very scary. It's okay, but it does have a good branch there that you could hang someone from. Skeleton. What else do we have? The elm's not scary looking at all. This one's not very scary looking. I do have my little cedar spirit tree. It's kind of gnarly, but not really scary looking. I've got my witch's tree, and again, it's not the most scary looking tree in the world. It is starting to rain now. It's starting to rain hard. I better get back into the greenhouse. I don't think we'll get a lot of rain, but let's head inside here. So out here on the bench here, I have my my lychee tree. Had to think what it was for a second. And you can see it's growing really well. Zin grew this from a seed, and he gave it to me many years ago, actually. And it wasn't doing real well in the winter, but you can see now that it's shot up and has a lot of vigor. The two lowest branches, I don't know if they're dead, but they're leafless right now. So I was thinking of doing a chop to this tree, cutting the top off. It's getting a little tall. So I have, you know, two leaves down low. I could just chop the top off, and I think that would be a good place. If I cut the top leader off, I might get some back budding down lower, and then I can reduce the height even further. So let's do that. Let's do that while it's raining outside. So I will come in, and actually there's a leaf at the back. I'll trim it right here. Here I go. So that looks a little better now. There's the top I took off. Quite a bit. Yeah, that's a little better size, and I'll put it outside in the rain, and we're getting really nice warm weather now, so I think it can stay out for the summer. The rain has stopped, so let's head back outside and look for spooky trees. I don't think there's anything in the poly house. They're all kind of succulents. Nothing looks too scary in there. Out here on this bench, I have my thuja, the clump style. It's kind of scary looking. It's kind of scary looking. That's a possible tree. I have my other thuja that was part of the elephant penjing. It's I think it's survived the repotting, but it's not flourishing yet, and I think that'll come. My citrus trees aren't that scary. I don't have a lot of scary looking trees. The forests aren't scary, they're more inviting. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of scary looking trees. Something to think about. Yeah, if I come across a really scary, awesome tree, I'll add it to the collection for sure. But for now, I don't think I have too much that's spooky looking. And I'll show you some examples of scary looking trees, probably cartoon pictures and that, of what I'm after. Those branches looking like arms and the top of the tree looking like a head and a body. I watered all my trees outside this morning, gave them a good thorough watering, so that's good. I won't have to re-water them mid-afternoon. I've got the lychee tree all pruned up, so I'll put it outside on the bench, and I'll look around for another tree that needs pruning. The next tree I'm going to prune up today is my Black Locust tree. So this tree uses a lot of water. I have to water it about 4 times a day, sometimes 5. It just goes dry like very quickly. So I think by cutting the top off the tree, it'll reduce the water requirements for the tree, and I think the tree will be healthier overall. I don't think it's good to, having it dry out all the time. If I'm there to water it, it's no problem, but if I go away for the morning or something, it goes quite dry, and the leaves, you can see some of the leaves have turned yellow on it because it dried out. So I'm going to cut the top of the tree off. I was looking at pictures of black locust trees, mature ones in nature, and they're very twisty trees. They don't grow in a traditional branch style. I was a little worried that some of these branches were getting a little contorted looking, very angular and growing back and weaving around. But after I looked at the full-size trees, I realized, well, that's the characteristic of this tree, is they grow this really twisty branch structure on it. So I'm glad I looked at the pictures, because that's how the tree wants to grow, and I'm going to let it grow in that style. So I need to cut the top of the tree off, and I've got to find a suitable point to cut it off at. And I'm wondering where. So this is a really good strong weeder here. I can take it back to here, I think. So here I go, cutting the top off, just like that. These black locust trees are considered an invasive species here in Ontario. They are native to North America, but not this region. So if you see one in nature, you can feel free to collect it, because it's considered an invasive species, but always get permission from the landowner first. I'll show you some pictures of mature black locust trees for inspiration, and I hope, someday this tree looks like a miniature version of those black locust trees. The black locust is a really nice tree for bonsai. The leaves are fairly small. It gets white flowers on it, and it has a really rough bark when mature. And that kind of twisty branch structure is quite unique to the species. So yeah, I'd highly recommend people try a black locust for bonsai. The next tree I'm going to work on today is my cascade style lemon tree. So the problem with this tree is that you can see the upright growth is getting stronger, and this cascade branch is growing a little weaker. So what I have to do is take vigor out of the top of the tree so it kind of balances this upward growth with the cascade branch. So there's several ways I can do that. You can do it with leaf pruning. I prune this back so there's 2 leaves on each branch. I could take 1 leaf off so it only has 1 leaf per branch up here. I could prune it back, kind of doing some hard pruning, letting this cascade branch catch up and kind of weakening this upward growth. Wow, is it ever raining outside now? I definitely don't have to water my trees today. Holy cow. That's nice. I'm also hoping this rain tops up all my water barrels, because we have a long, hot, dry spell coming, and I'll need all the rainwater I can get. I'm having a look at the lemon tree. I mean, it's quite beautiful with this upright structure here, and this is a lower branch. I am worried that this is getting a little too powerful. So I've got to decide, you know, do I want to grow it as an upright tree and have this as a less significant branch, or do I want to reduce the top and strengthen up this branch so the branch, the cascading branch, is sort of the focus of the tree. So that's what I have to decide. The last time I pruned up this lemon tree, I had this branch at the back here which is very long and straight, and it's kind of not so good looking. It would be nice to shorten it. I could shorten it to here, or I could take it right back to here. And I think taking it right back, I've got this new shoot here that can take over and subdivide and create more of an interesting branch. And this branch is kind of getting quite long. I'm going to remove it. I think it's just something that has to be done. So here I go. So that comes off. And then the upper part, I do really like the structure here. I've got this little leader coming out the front. It is possible I could remove everything and keep this and develop this as the kind of upper part to the tree. It would be sacrificing all this growth and ramification, but I think in the future that's probably a good move. We are getting some very hard rain, quite a downpour. I didn't expect this today. It wasn't supposed to rain. There was like a 10% chance of rain. So wow, that is fantastic. Everything outside is well watered. The leaves on my Brazilian rain tree have closed up, and they say these Brazilian rain trees, the leaves close up when it's going to rain. So maybe that's an indicator of when rain's coming. I've been looking at the lemon tree, and everything tells me to cut the top off and keep this branch coming out the front here. I think if I leave it on, it's going to thicken up, and this branch will look just like a branch. And this one's kind of vertical, and it'll take away from the cascade feel of this tree. It's a really tough thing to do because this is looking really nice up top. And, you know, I can just imagine this all thickening up, and would it look like a good tree? It might. It's a tough decision. I know if I cut it off, I wouldn't regret it, because I could develop the canopy again, and it's going to develop stronger than this branch, and it would sort of balance the tree. But would it look good, you know, as an upright tree, sort of one that's on the edge of a mountain and it's growing tall, and this is just sort of a branch off of it? That could look good too. A very tough decision that I could almost flip a coin. Well, what I'll do, I'm going to prune it up, this top canopy, reducing the vigor on it. And maybe I'll leave that decision for another day. I just can't make the decision today. It's, yeah, it's a tough decision. It would just take one cut right here, and it would be done. It does look a very natural tree, especially with this upright part. If I reduce that back, maybe it'll look a little more unnatural. So maybe it's a good idea to keep that. Decisions. So let's get pruning here. The first thing I'm going to prune is I have a new vertical shoot coming off of this branch, and I don't think I want it. I've got another branch here, it divides from 1 to 2, and I don't want a third, so that one's coming off like that. Now on the top of the tree here, I've already pinched the tips off. I could take this one back. There's an outward facing bud or leaf here, so I can take the top off there, reducing that vigor. There is a little leaf coming out here that would fan outwards, so I'm going to take the top off here. I'm going to clean up this stub here, like that. I've got a stub here I can do a little cleanup work on. And then this branch, I've got a leaf that's fanning outwards here, one that's going vertical, and another one that's kind of going vertical. So I'll at least take it back to here, taking that off, and I'll remove this vertical leaf just to take a bit of vigor out of the top of the tree. I've got a branch coming up here. I've got a leaf fanning outwards here, so I'll take the top off that one. There's a black dot on the underside here. I'm just making sure it's not scale. I don't think it was, but it could be. This lowest branch, the one that could become the leader someday, I've got two branches coming off here. They're both not too bad. I'll just clean up the stub here, like that. And there's a stub here I can clean up. This branch here, I'll remove this vertical leaf. And I'll remove this vertical one. Just sort of a partial defoliation there. On this back branch, I have a vertical shoot that I'm going to prune away. Taking that off, there's some buds forming here. This one I can take the tip off here, reduce it back a bit. I can clean up a stub here, like that. I can clean up this stub. The branch that's coming out here, it's growing over top of this lowest cascade branch, and I don't want that, so I need it to come forward, so it's got its own space here. So everything growing behind over top of my cascade branch I'm going to remove. So this one can come off like that, and I better take this one off also. So it reduces it, so the branch tip is coming outwards, and I hope I get some back budding here that I can reduce it back in length too. I could... I can't take the tip off there, it's already been reduced. This branch out the back, it's looking good. I could reduce the tip, and maybe on this other branch too. I can just take the vertical leaf off. That's about all I can do. There's some older leaves on here that are a bit yellowy. Those are from the winter. On this cascade branch there's some new shoots sticking straight up here. I'm going to take the tip off, just so they fan out a little more. This one that's right vertical I'm going to remove entirely. And I think the one on the inside here I'll take off also, like that. On this branch I have one coming up here. Don't think I want that, it just clutters up the design, so that comes off. There's some stubs I can clean up here. I don't know if I should take this stub back. I probably should, but there is a new shoot coming off it. I'll just take the tip off it, like that. That helps. There's a vertical leaf here I could take off. One here. This one could come off, just to reduce some of the vigor in this upper part here. And I'll take off this one here, and even this one back here. A yellow one here I can take off. That reduces the number of leaves in the apex here. There's a yellow one I can take off here too. It's not doing anything. It's an old leaf. A couple of them here. Yeah, they're just older leaves that aren't doing anything anymore. So that is about it. That's, you know, pruning it back using, keeping the top on the tree. That should help balance the foliage a bit. There's another leaf I can take off here, and this one here. I do on this tip here, I've got like 2 branches coming from one spot. I kind of like the one that's kind of flowing with the cascade branch. It kind of crosses back. I better take some vigor out. I'll take this other one out. Like that. Just keeping that one. I'm wondering. If branches come out in this area, I may reduce this one back a bit too. But I think for now I'll leave it. So that's got my cascade lemon tree pruned up. I think that's better, and I'm kind of glad I didn't take the top off the tree. I think growing it upright will look good in the future. I think if I keep managing this top canopy, letting the bottom branches kind of grow, because I haven't pinched any of these growing tips, it should help balance the vigor, and I think it'll be an attractive tree with a canopy up here, and this is more of a branch rather than this being a trunk line. I think it'll make a more natural looking tree that I'll be happy with. Okay, so back out on the bench it goes. The rain has stopped now. So I was down to 800 liters of water, and now I'm up to 900. So I collected 100 liters of water from that kind of brief rainstorm. And my other barrel here, I got some water in it. It's a third full. So I would have liked them to be topped up totally, but you know, sometimes you got to take what you get. So the next tree I'm going to work on is my Chinese elm. In the last video, I selected the branches that I wanted to keep and grow, and you can see they've grown really long. And I've noticed that the wound where I did the big cut, this used to be sort of a cascade looking tree, it's closed up totally now, so that's healed over. So I'm wondering if it's time to prune these long branches back. Do I want to thicken them up more, or do I want to prune them back and start getting, you know, some branch ramification here? So let me look at the tree and I'll decide. So this tree, when I got it, was the typical S-shaped Chinese elm, and I took a big cut off here, trying to kind of straighten it out a bit so it's not quite so S-shaped. And it helped a lot. It's looking a little more natural looking. So where do I want to go with this tree? Well, the root base is still horrible on it. I did as much root work as I dared do last time I repotted it. So next spring I'll be repotting it once again, trying to sort out the roots. They were just absolutely horrible. Do I want branches to thicken up? I might want to leave like a leader for the trunk line to help thicken that up. But I think the branches can be taken back now. I mean, all these branches contribute to growing the thickness of the trunk. But, you know, you don't want these upper branches getting really, really thick either. You want them kind of a finer structure in the upper canopy. So I think it's time to prune them down, and I might leave, you know, one leader to grow to help kind of smooth out the trunk. Before I begin the pruning, I kind of need to have a goal in the styling for this tree, and that's something I don't really have. So maybe I need to go inside and look on the computer and look at some Chinese elms in nature and try and come up with a plan for this tree. I can't do much, you know, it's always going to have this curvy trunk, which maybe will look good someday, but at the moment it looks a bit contrived, unnatural. So let me do that. Let me go online and I'll look at Chinese elms in nature, and maybe I'll find an inspirational photo that will guide me to style this tree into the future. I went online and looked at pictures of full-size Chinese elms or lacebark elms, and it kind of confirmed my suspicions that this tree doesn't look very natural. All the pictures of the Chinese elms have this upright structure, just like the American elm, and then this kind of big canopy on top. So, yeah, this tree doesn't look anything like that. All the branches on this tree are kind of cascading. So out here is the American elm, and this is more of an elm style, where all the branches reach upwards, forming this kind of rounded canopy. So that's what I'd like my Chinese elm to look like. Maybe someday it will. I'll just have to keep working on it. I've been pruning the Chinese elm, pruning all these branches back and trying to get more of an upright structure to the tree. All the branches want to naturally cascade, and I think that'll be a good feature for the tree in the future. Once I build the upright structure, then I can have the branches kind of cascading around the tree, forming the canopy. But for now, I'm trying to build an upright structure to the tree, and it may be difficult. So I'm just pruning all the branches back. I have a styling goal in mind for this tree to create the upright branch structure and then eventually a big rounded canopy. So it's something I'll work on for the future. The next trees I have out are these mesquite trees. These were grown by Derek from seed. So very interesting trees. I haven't done anything with them. They germinated in this pot, and that's the way they are. So I do eventually want to repot them and maybe create a forest out of these trees. So I think the first thing I need to do is, before I repot them, is to cut them down in height, hard prune them, get some branch structure coming out down lower, and then repot them into a forest. So the step today will be just to hard prune them back, and then later on in the summer I'll repot them. I've never pruned these trees before, so I'm hoping they take well to hard pruning. I guess I'll find out. So here I go, hard pruning. So what I'm going to do is the thicker trunks I'll leave a little taller, and the thinner trunks will get smaller. That way I'll have a bit of variation in the forest. So I'll prune this one off here. So here I go. Timber. The next thickest one is over here, so I'll prune it just a bit shorter to here. The next thickest is this one, so it can come down a little shorter to here. And then this one will be even shorter still to here. And then the smallest one can get pruned right back to here. So there I am. I've got a pot full of sticks. So hopefully, you know, I'll get all kinds of new branches coming out, and then I can plant them into the forest planting. And I'll have to look up mesquite trees on the internet and see what style they naturally grow in nature, and try and duplicate that style with my mesquite tree forest. The last trees I'll be working on today are my poplar trees. I repotted these in spring, and the one looked really, really weak in spring. It was possibly dead. I potted it up anyway, and I think it truly is dead, but I haven't given up hope on it yet. There are some buds on this little shoot here that may come to life someday, I don't know. These poplars are another tree that uses a lot of water, and I have to water these like 4 times a day also, and they're getting very, very tall. So I'm going to prune them back today, and I'm looking, you know, to get that natural poplar form to them, where the branches come off at, like, well, you can see the angle they come off of here. It has very angular growth in nature, and that's the style I'm trying to get. So they're too tall, so I'm going to prune them back today. All right, so here I go with the pruning. So I'll start with the largest tree here. It was a stick in a pot, and then I pruned it off here, and I got some sub branches each side. They're not the most attractive looking at the moment, but I think now I can take off this dead stub on the top. So I'll do that. I'll come in here and prune that away. Like that. Kind of smoothing it out a bit. And then I had a branch on the side, and there's a shoot coming off of it, but all the energy is going into this upright one, and this is kind of staying dormant. So by pruning the top of the tree, I think this branch will start to grow then. I'll also take the stub off here, like that, and then I'll prune to an outward facing leaf back here, taking that branch back. And then the tall leader, there's no branches down low, but there's all kinds of buds all over it. So I think this is a case where I need to do a hard prune. If I prune it off to these branches up top here, it's still too long of a branch without any taper or movement. So I'm going to come back to here. Hard prune, here I go. Taking the whole top off that tree. Big cuts on it. And then the other tree, it's been pruned much lower, and it has some good branching on it. I do need to do a little cleanup of some of the stubs in here. So I'll come in and, ow, my scissors are hot from being in the sun. Oh, they're really hot. I'll cool them in the water. Okay. I cooled them in the barrel of water. So I'll take this stub off here, and then again I'll prune these branches back. This one does have a nice branch here. I'll just take the tip off, and I'll take the top off the tree here. And then I've got a branch out here that I can prune back to there. And that's got that tree pruned up. There's a yellow leaf I'll take off here. And I'll clean up that center stub on it. Like that. So sealing these cuts with rubber cement seemed to work really well, so I will seal them up today too. Okay, I've got my Titan rubber cement, and any brand of rubber cement works. I think it's all the same stuff. So I will squeeze out some rubber cement and just seal this cut up. And I'll seal the top cut up here. That one has already been sealed. This one can get sealed. And if you didn't seal them, I'm sure they would heal all by themselves. But this will at least give me some peace of mind, maybe. And then this one here needs to be sealed. And this rubber cement's flexible, so as the tree grows, it doesn't impede the growth of the wound. Yeah, so that's it. So this one is quite a nice looking tree, the smaller one. And the larger one, I think maybe in the future it'll look quite good. I'll just keep clipping growing it into a larger and larger tree and eventually get the really nice canopy on it. And this one, I don't know if it's alive or not. I think it is because there are buds on it, but if it is alive, it's just alive. I've had people ask me why am I not using the misting system here in the greenhouse, and the answer is just purely water usage. When I had the misting system going, it would take this container of water, it would use that up each day. And at the moment, I can water my entire tree collection with that amount of water. You know, the greenhouse, the polyhouse, and all the trees on the benches with that amount of water each day. So using the misting system would double my water usage, and if we had a drought, I would run out of rainwater. So that's the reason I'm not using it, and I just, water everything by hand in here. The misting system's good if you want to grow aerial roots and moss. It really keeps it humid in here, but yeah, it just uses too much water, and you never know when you're going to get a drought in the summer. I mean, we've had droughts where we've gone a month and a half without any rain, and it's been hot and dry, and I hate to use tap water if I can avoid it because it has so much lime and calcium in the water that you get all this white on your pots and the leaves and the roots, and yeah, it's just not as good for the trees as rainwater. It's getting very steamy here in the greenhouse, high humidity, and the temperature's going up now that the sun is out. It's going to be a hot and humid day. I think my ficus will really like it. I did a lot of hard pruning today. Yeah, I worked on a lot of trees, and I think all that pruning will get them back on track or on the right track in the future. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.